All right.
Yeah.
Welcome to ATB TV. I'm Darren Dance here with Peter Morganti. Welcome to ATB, Pete. This week, we've got a big week to talk about. We're going to go through our runners and results first, and we've got a nice interview with top trainer Lindsey Smith. And somewhere amongst the mix, Pete, you're going to hold up a card that's got 2 tips from David Eustace, who's starting to reach legend status with 3 winners from 3 goes.
100%. He's the king. Talk about these racing.com tipsters. Well, I don't know how long Dave's going to train for, but he's got a job for life on TV because he keeps bobbing up with winners and good prices.
So we're just going to let them, they're going to have to wait till you hold that up somewhere during ATB TV. And,
just a little, just a little tease.
So there's 2 winners there, they tell me, 2 winners, and if you multi them up, you're looking at about $20. So interesting to see how many people tune in to watch this. But let's go through last week's runners, Pete.
As people may remember, we were sort of half tuned into Donald races. We watched Sunburnt run, and obviously she was okay for 5th. She'll be better for the run over that trip. I think Maddie's going to take her to Ararat over 12 or 1300, which might suit better.
Yep.
The one we didn't get a chance to talk about was Madam Mischief, and she was in a war up front with half a dozen horses, and it took toll on her late in the race to finish about 8th, I think.
Yeah, well, if she doesn't get an easy lead, Pete, she's going to struggle. So I think Archie's got a plan now to go to 1200, where she'll get an easier time in front and maybe able to dictate. Relax, breathe for a little bit, and then hopefully she can run out the strong 1200 at the end. It's a good plan. If it works, fine, we're on our way. But if it doesn't work, we're back scratching our heads, wondering what to do with her. But yeah, she does need to get out in distance just to try and get that easy lead. If she's not going to be able to clearly lead over 1,000, she's probably going to struggle if she's in a war.
Yeah, she just needs another string to her bow, doesn't she? And look, trying something, and that's all you can do.
No, good on him for coming up with that idea.
Sunday, we had nothing on Saturday. Sunday, we had 3. Or we did have 4. We scratched Moneybags, Mr. Moneybags, who trialled earlier in the week. So his plans are to go to a 1,400 metre race end of this month. We did have 3 runners, and we had sorry? He trialled well on Monday.
His trial was very good.
Yeah. It was only 800, and he was up and about. Finished off strongly, finished 2nd. So probably got more out of.
He's in good order.
Probably got more out of that. The track ended up pretty firm at Geelong, so a controlled trial was probably better value for him. We had a pleasant surprise. Crackerjack Prince, I was going to say Crackerjack King, Crackerjack Prince by Crackerjack King flew home 1,400 metres. I think it's got us all up out of our seat in the last 100. Another half a dozen strides and he wins.
Massive run first up. Trained by Archie Alexander. Obviously, it's a homebred to our staying Crackerjack King. 3-year-old having its first start. I think all the way through, Archie's really liked it. And I think what, struck me was he said over the time he's had that horse, there would have been 12 track work riders ride that horse. And every one of them liked that horse. And he said 12 people can't be wrong. So they all liked it. So whilst he didn't expect it to run in the top 3, he certainly was hoping it could hit the line and finish off in the first half of the field well. From a wide gate, he tucked in behind him and he zigged and zagged and got out, and top of the straight came flying down the outside. And like you say, another few strides, he actually wins. The winner comes up the fence, covers no ground, $500,000 yearling. And we ran it to what, half a length, I think.
Yeah.
Opposed to he was 2 in front.
Yeah, no, it was a real.
So I think he's got a future, Pete. Got a future. I don't know where he's going to go with him, but I think the owners are up and about. They're all dreaming about the Derby. So let's just see if we can get that made out of the way first.
I did write a little story, got a bit ahead of myself, but you've got to dream in this game. And I think there's a mile race at Ballarat at the end of the month, and that looks a perfect stepping stone.
So we'll certainly look forward to that. He won't be starting $51 there.
You've missed that price. Couple of races later, or it might even be the next race, we had the consistent, ultra consistent Serious Deal run third. It was just a mirror image of what he's produced basically all preparation. He was there to win, and for a couple of reasons, barrier probably the main one. It's just told on him late, but he's only beaten narrowly into third.
It's been, as you say, you know what you're going to get with him, don't you? He just goes to the races, tries his best. As you say, he needs a good gate. And he was up in grade there. That was a 64 at Geelong. So, he's done really well there. Look, he's been in work a long time. He's had a lot of racing, but he just loves it. He loves his work. He loves the stable life, and he's happy. So while he's doing all that and he's performing well, you keep him going. At some point, the tracks will get hard, or he'll put in a bad one, and he'll deserve a well-earned rest. But he's a very honest, consistent horse, and can't ask for much more than that.
No, and as you said the other day, if you can get another run or two out of him, we can just dodge the summer tracks and have him back in late summer into the autumn, and it'll be perfect timing for him again.
Yep, perfect.
Be nice to strike off a $30,000 race in between time. Collectible. Just seems like we get on here each time with her, and there's, a reason why she hasn't performed. She was back in the field, and I think Noel Calais might have put his hand up to say pilot error. I don't know what to make of the run, to be fair.
No, I thought she was disappointing. I know she jarred up on that track, and she was a bit stiff there for a few days, but I just think overall she's been disappointing this time in. She gets back out of her ground too far, doesn't seem to travel well enough, and left with too much to do. She might have been on the wrong part of the track. He might have went left when he should have went right, but at the end of the day, she was beaten a long way, and I think we're all of the opinion that she probably gets one more go, and it might be time to take our bat and ball and go home.
Yep. Find her a mate, a stallion mate.
Not for me.
Not for you.
I'll be exiting. I think I'll be exiting.
All right, all good. So that's 4 runners there. Obviously a couple of good results and a promising result with a starring one coming through, and hopefully he might be our next winner. Although we've got a bit.
Well, I'd like to think we could have it before that.
I was just going to say, I've got one horse to talk about.
Had a run on Saturday night in Ireland.
And I've got him to talk about as well.
What about Ireland?
Yeah, Leopardstown, 2,400 metre handicap of some description. That might even be a listed race. Melburnian.
Who would know?
Hey?
Yeah, Melburnian, the half sister. Yeah, who would know? The half sister to Heartbreak City. Pulled up sore after her run the other day and went terrible, but it was in a stifle. So he's got on top of that, and obviously he'll ring me tomorrow, Pete. But I don't know what time that race is, or I don't even know where she drew. But
I think it's going to be an ordinary hour of the morning, just judging by their times. But I'll send that out to the owners.
I think.
I've missed that.
Yeah. Anyway, she'll look, if she finds the best form, she can.
Yeah.
Finds the best form, she can go well, and but we have entered in the November mare sale up there, so if she doesn't strike form, she'll be moved on.
Yep. Righto, our next winner, potentially. We have Capriccio first up at Hamilton on Monday.
You've declared it.
Yeah, I like it.
Does the trainer like it?
Trainer seems to like it. He wasn't going to run if he wasn't happy. She's been accepted. I think we'll learn a bit more over the weekend, but at this stage she's running. There's a backup plan for Bendigo on Wednesday, but you'd want to be winning a maiden at Hamilton. She'd be odds on. I know I don't. 230.
230. There's already one scratching. Top weight's out. So it's a field of 11. She's $2.30 on fixed. got a fair bit of rain supposed to be falling over the weekend, so the track will be rain affected, which suits the I'm Invincible breed. She's had one start. I think it was a Ballarat where I think she might have ran 4th.
Yeah.
In a bit of a luckless run. Beaten 3.5 by Peggy Celine, who I think runs around and she's got her anywhere near right. She'll just say, see you later.
Yeah, well, Peggy Celine's won twice at Sandown since. It runs tomorrow, Saturday grade. So, stakes race, I think, tomorrow. So, there's the form line.
No, well, we like this filly, liked her all the way through.
Yep.
She's going to get better with racing, and she could be a player in the spring.
Let's hope so. That's what we're looking for. So that's it, Darren. I don't know any more. Wednesday is Bendigo. The only nomination is Capriccio. So she don't go to Hamilton. She might go to Bendigo, but
I'd say she'll be going to Hamilton.
I think she'll be going to Hamilton. Yep. So that covers it.
Now we're going to cut over and have a look at what Lindsey Smith had to say.
Yep.
And he was in Perth. Everyone would know who Lindsey Smith is. Got our first 2 horses going to him, and he seems a bit like you, Pete. Bit of a colourful character.
He admitted what was he? He was tied up with Henry Davis back in the Getting Closer days. Now, for the younger ones that don't know, that was a horse that was back from 200s into 7-2 and 1. They cleaned up. He said he got a bit of that money, but then what did he do? He bought a fast car and punted the rest away. It hasn't punted since.
Well, the fastest money can buy.
Yeah. So, colourful character. And I tell you, we need more of these types of people in the game because they just present something different. It's very stock. It's a bit like the footballers. You go and interview them, you ask them the same 5 questions, you get the same 5 answers. But Lindsay's a little bit left field, colourful character, good fun, and I think he said he just can't wait for racing to open up again so he can have a beer with his owners. Can't wish more than that.
Well, what I really enjoyed about that interview was he talked about what happens to bad or jockeys with no ability, what their career path is. Trainers.
Yeah, that was his, wasn't it?
Because he said he was one. He was one.
Yeah,
anyway, I think I'll enjoy this interview. I think he's a pretty much down-to-earth guy, and he can obviously train a horse. And I think he's the way he goes about it is pretty straightforward. I thought the humility he showed around Humidor going to Waller and winning first up was outstanding.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been smart enough to, it just sums the guy up. He's
And I think more importantly, he said he's reinvigorated as a trainer at 60 years of age, and he's bouncing. He's got his family over, settled into Warrnambool schooling, and he's up and about and, planning ahead.
He's a bit like you, I reckon, Pete.
Yeah, you reckon? I'm looking for a
60-year-old with kids. 60-year-old with kids still at school.
Take off 5 years. I'm looking for that Tats Lotto ticket.
Their kids, his kids are at secondary school.
Yeah, he's 60. Well, there you go. He's a late starter too. He must have been 45. Yeah.
Good luck to you, son.
He must have been in lockdown at some stage back there about 15 years ago too.
I don't know who's going to be in aftercare. Who's going to be in after-school care, you or the kids?
I know which way it's headed. Anyway.
Now, what about these tips? David Eustace has come up with a couple of tips which you're going to flash up.
I've got the backside of it. I'm not showing them yet. They're going to have to watch Lindsey Smith.
No, well, they can stay tuned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
we do appreciate him texting those through or calling them through.
Yep.
He doesn't have to do that, does he?
No, and he's more than willing to. And
well, enjoy Lindsey Smith's interview, and I'm going to cut out here and leave you to it, Pete. So all the best for the weekend and happy punting, and I hope you all enjoy Lindsey Smith's interview. I think he tips a couple of upcoming winners as well, and somewhere there you'll flash up what David Eustace. Just remember, when you do put that sheet up, hold it up the right way.
I might make it cryptic.
All right. Until next week, I'm Darren Dance with Peter Morganti. Enjoy the following.
See you guys.
Lindsay, welcome to ATB TV.
Looks like he's frozen over there.
Yeah, afternoon, guys. Thanks for having me on. Okay, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, gotcha. There we go.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, thanks for having me on the show.
All right, Pete, over to you, mate. Lead it away.
Right, Linz, we'll delve into a bit of your career. Obviously, we know you're based over at Warrnambool now, and that's how we've got involved. But just wind us back. How did Lindsey Smith get into racing?
Oh, well, it happened, believe it or not, I was a jockey there for a little while, but I wasn't very good at it. I always say the weight got to me, but that's a bit of a lie. I didn't have any ability. So the next step was that was in Perth. So I went to Flemington. I worked for Tommy Hughes Senior for a number of years, which led me to stable foreman for a chap called Henry Davis, who worked to train for Mark Reed around the Getting Close era. That was a big plunge back in them days, which when Henry retired, I came back to Perth and started up training with a couple of horses. And it's a hard gig when you first start training. You're always waiting for an opportunity to come along. And Bob Peters come along, and he got me in this position where we're at now.
No doubt that Getting Closer plunge financed the beginning of a training career.
Yeah, well, them days I was a lot younger and I was a good spender, so I didn't really do it very cleverly. I went and bought the fastest car you could possibly buy, and I started gambling, which turned out to be not a bad lesson, because I don't gamble anymore, put it that way. So I lost enough money, so it taught me not to bet.
Very good. Well, just your Perth base there, or your WA base, where's that set up, and are you on a property?
Yeah, I've got 40 acres here. It's all self worked. It's got barriers, horse pools, 2 tracks, paddocks. I don't have to leave this property unless I go to the beach or the trials. It's I've started just a block of land with trees and shrub, and I've turned it a bit of a showpiece. And we've had a lot of winners here. A lot of Group 1 winners have come from this environment, and very proud of it, what we've been able to build.
What years do we turn back to, Linz, when you sort of got all this up and going? I don't know whether my research is correct, but said you trained your first winner in '94.
Yeah, but that would have been the first six years I struggled a bit, and then along came Bob Peters, and from around about '99, I was with Bob for about 6 or 7 years, and so '99 till about 2005, 2006, Bob Peters was at the stables. And then he left, which left a big hole in the stable, and you had to reinvent myself, and which hopefully I've done, and got me in a position to be able to one day to go to Melbourne.
Just back to that Bob Peters era, was he the owner of your first Group 1 winner, the WA Derby winner? I just can't think of its name now.
No, Old Money, she was the first one. I think I had, they changed them now, they demoted some, but I think I had about 8 to 10 Group 1 winners for Bob in about 4 years. And and he sort of, give me quality horses to buy a stock stallion called Old Spice, which was very, very tough horse, which enabled me to train them quite hard and put them in to be basically fitter than the opposition.
Yep. Just on that, obviously, a huge aspect of your training is the deep sand work. Your methods there, and the reasoning why you reckon that's such a great tool to have.
Well, it's injuries, everything's stretched. Typically, they'd be 15% fitter than a horse trained on top of the track. And why I can say this, that we've been very fortunate to train a lot of Group 1 winners, but this system has produced the best trainers we have in Western Australia. And I've said it before, it's like selling guns to the enemy, because now Grant Williams, who worked for me, now trains for Bob Peters, Adam Durant. He was my foreman also. So now you sold guns to the enemy. They had better horses than I had here, so I was running second a lot. So when the opportunity came to go to Melbourne, I sort of got out of town trying to get away from Bob Peters, to be honest. Now he's in Melbourne. Yeah, correct. But at least I've got a bit better ammo now, Darren. Before I just had like $5,000 horses, and you get lucky every now and then, but you generally get what you pay for.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. Big believer in that.
Speaking of some of those stars, obviously in recent times you lost one of your best in Scales of Justice, but along with Blackheart Bart, they've been two fantastic horses.
The timing of them were immeasurable, because, I just started in Melbourne and he kicked me off Scales of Justice, and then old Bart was able to back it up and help me get along a little bit. So the timing of what them two Group 1s got me going straight away was enormous, and introduced me to people up to start training some better quality horses.
Yeah, obviously we'll just move into the Victorian setup now down at Warrnambool. Obviously in Weary's old setup down there, and along the way you got to know Weary. He had a similar philosophy with the deep sand training as well. I don't know whether there was a lot of that was connected back to, was it harness racing in Perth where you first got a lot of the ideas?
Well, I only had a handful of horses, and I teamed up with a chap at the time called Justin Warwick, who was our leading driver here, and we trained the trotters along with the gallopers, and we had a lot of success with the trotters. So they were combined. It wasn't really, my heart wasn't in the trotters, but they seemed to get a better response out of the sand than the gallopers did, and it was a case they taught me a little bit how to train along the way. But yeah, I had a little bit of a dabble with the paces.
Yep. Obviously the move to Warrnambool, I'm not too sure how long it's now. You've been here probably comfortably for 18 months or two years. Is the family over with you now?
Yeah, 18. Yeah, we've been here 18 months. I just bought a property in Warrnambool, a house in Warrnambool. They're over there, and they go to school at Manual.
Yep.
College and St. Joseph's, the primary school. So they love it. So it would surprise me a little bit, but so it's not too hard for us.
Excellent. Just the access there. Obviously, there's been a lot of controversy with the beach over the times, but you're finding it obviously okay with your training setup to get access.
Yeah, well, when I got there, it needed a bit of fresh air. Everyone was fighting everybody, so without anyone knowing, I went to every party, all the fighting parties, and we sort of made them all smoke a peace pipe, and sort of made them assured the opposition people that we weren't there to take over the world like the Romans. So, we sort of struck the opposite side, and now, everything works in harmony. We've got access to Lady Bay as much as we want. I think they're just about to sign a 10 or 15-year lease on there. So it's all worked out good. So sometimes, the broom comes through. It's not a bad thing to, fresh start.
Yep. How many can you manage there at Warrnambool at the setup there on course, Lindsay? How many can you train?
We've got 42 on course, and they, as you would have known, they're state of the art down where, hold back. I could live in one of the boxes. They're beautiful. But we also got a little farmlet down at the beach for horses what don't like the barn environment, and they've got paddocks where they can walk in and out of. So we've got a dozen of them. So we try and make it that we've got to suit every horse, the finicky horse, or all the type of horses that we can train from both environments.
Yep. It all must be working well, because I'm just looking at the stats here, and I presume they're pretty accurate. The last 12 months, 600 odd runners, 115 winners. That's a strike rate of close enough to 20. Top three, 43%. So I presume that's combined WA and Victoria. So they're good figures, good numbers.
Well, especially when, as you guys syndicators, if we can earn 43% of the time we go around, that'll keep the owners happy. And we pride ourselves on consistency and longevity, and that comes through having access to the beach and the different environments. So we're quite proud of that, and we look forward to sort of at least keeping it the same, or hopefully, get a little bit better stock. We hopefully might win a couple more Group 1s.
Has that translated into a lot of new owners, Lindsay?
Yes. But it was nearly shared, I'd say, 57 to 60 something, whatever. It was quite shared, but in Western Australia, the racing sort of hit a bit of a flat spot. There's not a lot of new owners getting involved, so the majority of my owners are relatively new, yes. And it's been a bit hard with the COVID to really get to know them. You sort of talk to them, but you don't know what they look like. So I can't wait to get back to the races and have a few beers with some of the people who have supported me and going to support me in the future, because I like the social side of it.
I think that's something we're all missing at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's very hard trying to sell something that you can't speak to new clients. But the world. Now we're talking on Zoom now. The world's changing, but it's still not the same, and it's not the same for the trainer or the staff. We do miss the connection, and we know that our stable tries to make it enjoyable. It might sound a bit light-hearted sometimes, but we take everything seriously. But we still make it a point that we try and let the owner enjoy it, whether he has 2% or whether he has 100%. So everyone's important in that stable, because they all pay our wages.
Exactly. Just back on WA, interesting times over there. How was the past fortnight in lockdown or in quarantine? Interesting?
Oh, well, they say I'm a little bit fragile anyway, let alone being locked up in a room for 2 weeks. But there's a will, there's a way. I've managed to smuggle some beer in and some different sort of food. So, I would have been easier being in jail, because, as I said, you would have had someone to cuddle in jail. But in there, it's locked down, shut the door, and we'll see you in 14 days. So it was a bit of a struggle, but we're back. I just had a few things to do in Western Australia, see some owners and let them know that I'm still focused. And I think, strangely enough, going to Melbourne is once again, this reinvented me and give me purpose to do things. I think I might have been a little bit stale or just going through the motions. So the whole thing has stimulated my brain and got me thinking all different ways. You never stop learning. As Humidor won the other day, I take most of that as my mistake. I should have tried another step, but I thought his age was, I thought I was doing the horse a favour, where I should have tried him in the heavy sand, then taken him out of the heavy sand. It's a method that Weir and I have discussed since I've known him for the last 6 years. We've talked about that, and hence he went and built a big property up towards Bendigo there with the heavy sand. And I think the system was about to explode for him even more, because when he hit his hiccup, the horses what were in the heavy sand all went to different trainers, and they've all kept going on and win Group 1. So it does work. And as I said, going to Melbourne stimulated me. And so quite quite strangely, being 60, I left it. I should have done it 20 years ago.
Yeah. No, all good. Obviously, we got a couple of horses coming to you, and one's a Dandino filly that we're all still learning about. Obviously, our first lot aren't on the track yet, and we bought that tried horse Cracksman that you may have had a bit of a look at. He's a style we think's got a little bit of a future. So, and I think within a fortnight they're both going to be down at the Awardable base. So, we look forward to that connection.
Yeah, well, the staying type of horse, like, I bought a couple of horses over, won the Terrain Cup, the Port Fairy Cups, the number of cups around that area, Colac Cups. So this horse is going to fit right into them. He's going to be a perfect little horse. So everyone's going to enjoy him. Hopefully we're back at the races by then with the people. They'll come to the races. You go and win the Terrain Cup. You go and win the Colac Cup. They're worth 60 and 80,000. It's good money, and that horse will go down on the bottom of the weights. And if he picks up 3 or 4 of them, well, he'll pay for the next one for the owners. So he's a good horse for me to have, because he'll keep winning country cups, and he'll make me look good. And then the owners will be able to buy another one. So he's a perfect horse for me, because he'll just come to them country cups. So he drops down a couple of grades. I really don't have to improve him. He's come from a good trainer. If I just keep him ticking alive around the same, and hopefully I improve him 5%, then we might even be able to go back to Saturdays and pull the Saturday off, and he can make me look good.
Well, one thing about that, Lindsay, is if he's going to make you look good, he's going to bloody make me look good. So I'm in your hands, mate.
No, well, you're in good hands, because as I said, it made myself look a goose the other day. So that won't be happening again. Trust me.
Well, I've just about expended everything on your training career. Is there anything about Lindsey Smith we need to know? Outside interest? You barrack for the Eagles?
No. I'm a Fremantle boy. Fremantle Dockers. So we don't have a lot to cheer about, but I've stuck fate. I'm loyal. I try my best with the best horse or the slowest horse. We try not to have too many slow ones. We work on the theory that they have to pay their way. Otherwise, it's no good for me. It's no good for you guys. It's no good for the owner. So we try and keep that simple. We give them every best care. I'm a hard worker, and I do appreciate the chances, like you guys and other owners in Melbourne, 5 years with, so keen. And there's a lot of young horses. The Dandino, I have one here in Western Australia, which ploughs through the heavy sand. He's only a 2-year-old, but he ploughs through the sand good. They may be 3-year-olds, but they got good work ethic in this one. So that'd be a chance, because I believe the dad was a bit similar when I spoke to Darren Weir about him. So, so generally, hopefully he throws that into the stock, and we can start off on a good note. But I've no doubt that the stayer will win some races with him, and it'll start our relationship up in a good fashion.
Beautiful.
Lindsay, I was just going to ask you, what have you noticed coming to Victoria different to WA in terms of jockeys, tracks? Is there really that much difference between the two states?
Darren, we've got a lot of good horse trainers in Western Australia, I think, and I don't mean to upset anybody, but I'd say Western Australian horse trainers are a lot more hands-on than Victorians, and that's not, everyone, as I said, but I find Western Australians a lot more hands-on. I still ride work. I still pick up manure, and the big thing I find is, the Victorians do the communication a lot better than Western Australia, and we're still down in Western Australia. We're still sending pigeons around, so we've got a lot to learn there, and a lot more we can offer the client. And jockeys, we have 1 or 2 jockeys in Western Australia, where over in Victoria you can just about throw your colours in the room and be happy with what you got. So we haven't got that in West Australia, but as for the horse trainers, and very good horse trainers over here. And as you've seen with Grant Williams just going over there, and they've got a horse called Frappuccino will be going over a grey horse, filly mare. She won down Australia only start. So given the horse flesh, that the trainers over here, our top trainers would survive anywhere in Australia, but the jockeys are very thin.
Yep.
Have you got a good one there, Lindsay? Is there a horse in your stable at the moment that you're really excited about for the spring, or just one that you really think might develop in the next 12 months? Is there one there?
Yeah, there's a horse there. He hasn't raced or trialled. He's by Deep Field. He's called Fine Demand. He's got a little bit on a horse called Tidius, which is in a Group 2 tomorrow. Tidius, I think, if I had my own way, I would have left him to Caulfield next week, but he's racing in the Group 2 tomorrow. There's a few owners wanting him to go that direction. But a horse by Deep Field called Fine Demand. And I won with a horse from France called Le Bol on Wednesday at Sandown. He'll be a sort of Warrnambool Cup winner next year, or he may even be higher than that, but I think he's one to watch along the way. But Fine Demand and Le Bol.
Well, that sounds
like,
pretty exciting to me.
Sounds like when I'm filming trials at Caston and I don't put that vision up.
Well, Pete, you've got to be the worst judge I've ever met, so
you keep
I don't
finding
think anyone's going to listen.
I'll keep that trial hidden for you, Liz.
When it comes up next time, you just turn that camera off a little bit and say, oh, the battery went flat.
Yeah.
But Pete, you would have seen that Le Bol trial that day, like for Australia, that last 100 metres.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just cut out, sorry. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. I don't tell anyone, Linz. Keep it to myself.
Yeah, that's a boy. You get a bonus next year.
Hey, I see you got...
That's why he's got to...
I mentioned Tidius in tomorrow. Adelaide Ace and Revette Delight, they're a bit bigger odds. Any chance each way there?
Okay, Adelaide Ace will go back tomorrow, and I thought I started him a little bit too soft first up, and I asked the kid to ride him a bit too tough, and it hurt him a little bit, so he's gone back to square one, and he'll be okay after Saturday. And Rivet Delight will go up on the speed. I'd say he'll follow Shot of Irish, and this horse likes a lot of cut in the ground, so at the odds, halfway up the straight, he's still going to be in the first three, so I'd be having something on him to place Rivet Delight.
Yep, and you scratched great again, so you go next week, does he?
No, he's everything looked like it was going to fall into place for him too, but he got some sort of spider bite or something, so he had to have a little bit of gentamicin. So I'll tip him out for the spring while he got the good grafts, and he can come back and wait for next year.
Beautiful.
All right, Lindsay. Well, we really appreciate you coming on today. I know you're a busy man and you got a lot going on there, and it's not easy, but we do appreciate it. And I'll tell you what, we can't wait to get one of those cold stubbies in my hands next to you and tip it down my neck.
Yeah, same here, because I've got a lot of stories for you, and we'll have a good time, and we'll train plenty of winners for you along the way, no doubt at all.
Well, as we say, people don't have to buy horses. They can buy boats. They used to be able to go on holidays, and they can do a lot of other things with their money. They don't need to buy horses. And as you know, we're in the entertainment business, and if they don't get something out of it, they won't go back in it.
Well, that's how I look. That's how I look at it too, Darren, because we are in the entertainment business, and I know sometimes people think I waffle on, but they got to enjoy it, and they like hearing, things that, things that have happened to you along the way, and it's about building relationships. So that's why when we can get back to face, everyone will enjoy it, and it'll be great.
Can't wait, mate. Well, thanks for coming on and all the best for the weekend.
Thanks, Lance.
See you guys.